Hey, how you doing? You know, it's only a matter of time till we run out of room to list all the dying arts. Empiricism is gone. Common sense is going. And I was thinking marketing is either on death watch or suicide watch. Or maybe that's a distinction without a difference. I couldn't be sure. But I was thinking about it anyway. I'd reached that point in the day at which I couldn't decide if I should have my 12th cup of coffee or my first martini. It was a philosophical quandary that seemed to fit right in with my contemplation of the dying arts. But, as so often happens, my ruminations were interrupted. I had a live one on the phone. Max Impact. You neglect it, we'll correct it.
What are you, a cutie?
Yeah, I'm not bad looking. Cutie might be a bit of a stretch, but I've been told...
Never mind that. I need help.
Hey, look, pal, this ain't a psychiatric practice.
Oh, a diehard, huh? How's about I take my business elsewhere?
Something tells me nobody else would give you a place to put it down, let alone take it.
Look, I'm on my way over. I don't care if you take my case or not, but I want to be there while you decide, just in case you need some, persuading.
I knew two things about this guy on the phone. One, he thought he was a tough guy. Two, he had a case. I didn't know what he had a case of, but if it wasn't beer, I hoped it wouldn't be anything too contagious. If it was beer, I hoped he was bringing it with him. Either way, I was going to have to deal with the guy, since it sounded like he called from his car. That meant he'd be showing up any minute. It was just as well. I probably wouldn't have baked a cake for him anyway, even if I'd had the time. Then I heard the knock on my door. I'm Max Impact. You didn't introduce yourself on the phone.
No, I didn't. I'm Hoozon Furst.
You gotta be kidding.
Are you gonna start again?
Okay, what do your friends call you?
Hooey.
I'm not surprised.
What?
I said I love your eyes. I wasn't sure if Hooey had a right foot, but we'd clearly gotten off on the wrong one. It was tough to resist the temptation to keep needling him, especially since he seemed to have thin skin to go along with his bad foot. And even though he hadn't shown up with beer, this seemed like one of those cases that should be polished off as quickly as possible. Besides, given my dying arts theory, this was an opportunity to find out if marketing was ready to be carried out feet first. Hey, we could talk privately in here, Hooey. I get the sense you're bashful.
That's just fine. You want my business or not?
Sure, I'm game. What do you got?
I invented the better mousetrap.
You came over here to talk cliches?
No, I mean it. I invented the better mousetrap.
Right. You and a million other guys.
Okay, I'll show you.
How'd he get in there?
He let himself in.
Why would he do that?
I put a picture of another mouse in there. He thinks it's his mother.
What?
They fall for it every time.
Well, what's the problem then?
Nobody believes it, so nobody buys the traps.
I could see why.
What? The product's no good?
No, the product's great.
Then what's the problem?
You need a brand to establish credibility and trust.
A brand? What do you mean?
If you had a cut, would you buy Pestle and Pete's plastic plasters or Band-Aids?
Band-Aids, because I already know and trust it. Oh, I get it.
Welcome back, Speedy. Here's what we'll do. I couldn't tell from that faint glimmer in Hooey's eyes if he was having a revelation or an acid flashback, but at that moment, I didn't care. I'd just seen how I could wrap this case, solve Hooey's problem, and be at the bar before the first chuckle of happy hour. And in my line of work, prioritization is everything.
What are we doing here?
Right now, nothing. But in a minute, we'll be having a pop.
Isn't it a little too early?
If you were on my side of the conversation, you wouldn't think so.
If I didn't know any better, I'd think that was some kind of a shot.
And if you did know better, we wouldn't be here.
What do you mean?
Sometimes the most sober problems require the most intoxicating solutions, Hooey. Let's belly up. Sometimes, when you meet a guy with a dent streak as wide as Hooey's, you just gotta go with the flow. And the faster the vodka started flowing, the better I'd like it. Besides, With guys as thick as Hooey, the best thing you can do is draw him a diagram. And I do some of my best work on cocktail napkins. So, what are you gonna call this new mousetrap of yours?
I don't know. I hadn't gotten that far.
Yeah, well, pace yourself.
Are you gonna start again?
Sorry. Let's call it Mama's Arms.
Works for me.
Hey, there you go.
What's the big deal? That's just what I described to you.
See? Now you're giving it a brand name and a line people will remember.
I like it. Do you think it'll work?
I think the brand will work. It's the trap I'm worried about.
Get with the program, Impact. You can't fight progress.
If this is progress, I have a feeling the mice will be happier about it than you are.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'd say it's a lot of hooey, but I'm afraid you'd take it personally. After I left the joint, I couldn't get Hooey out of my mind. Guys like him are a dime a dozen. They always got the better mousetrap. They always think the world is gonna beat a path to their doors. They always think the brass ring is just one grab away, and they're almost always wrong. But you know what? Guys like that make the world go round. If it weren't for guys like that, guys like me might write off hope as a dying art. I made up my mind right then that the next time I saw Hooey I was buying. I wasn't even gonna tell him why.